off or out of sync and everything in between. It was you that walked out on that stage minutes later and said you want to thank him and applaud him for doing an outstanding job. You answered every question. You did this, you did that. And then you go on The View and admit it was a flat out lie. It was a flat out lie. And that you knew you were lying. You went on The View and you said he was awful. It was bad. But that ain't what you told the voters out there.
Did she say it was
And now
bad?
you're hiding behind the notion that you weren't going to let one bad moment ruin a presidency. Well, it was one bad moment. Actually, it was many. Because we saw him. There were times that we saw him and he had no business being seen. Remember when former President Barack Obama had to guide him off a stage where he didn't know where he was going? Remember when he was at the World Summit in G7, if I remember correctly, and everybody was standing together, but he was fading away and drifting away, and they had to guide him back to the line? Remember that? Remember the times that he was mumbling incoherently?
Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? How you doing, Phoenix?
There was a analyst that came on Chris Cuomo's show. I think it was Scaramucci, if I remember correctly, but I'm not sure. Anthony Scaramucci. And he came on Chris Cuomo's show on News Nation, and he said the night of June 27th, when Joe Biden debated Donald Trump, he said,
how's it going? How's life?
That he looked like an elderly person in a nursing home waiting to be fed applesauce.
I'm good. I've been good so far. Nothing.
And it's sad is that vivid kind of picture depicting the president at the time was. No one refuted it.
Listening to bullshit.
No one. Which brings me to the other point. You see, none of that is a big deal, sir. If you're over 80 years of age, which is no shame in it, and you served this country the way that you served in the Senate for decades, in the presidency for the 3 previous years.
Yeah, if anybody ever wants
But
to
in 2020, when you were elected, before you took office,
that's just me in the Discord in any fucking room, really much.
In January of 2021, you swore to the American public that you were there to be a transitional president. You were coming for one term. You just wanted to get America's house back in order and get us removed from the chaos that had ravaged us for years in the streets of America. And you were supposed to be transitional. You got there, the Dems fought off a red wave, nullified it actually. It wasn't what the Republicans thought it was going to be. The Democrats won the midterms and you were feeling yourself. And you didn't want to surrender power. So you went back on your word as a transitional president. Your wife did everything she could to cover for you, knowing that there was slippage. And now we're walking around and what are we hearing right now, President Joe Biden? We're hearing that at 82 years of age, okay, which is what you are about to be, you're talking about writing a book. And the book is going to be out in about a year. And that's about right around the time that the midterms are coming out, that the midterms will take place. So is it possible that what you're doing is what you're saying is, I'm going to come out with a tell-all book and I'm going to dime everybody out and I'm going to call out the Democratic Party so you can somehow get in the way or whatever?
Yeah. I don't know where Marquez. Like probably, I'm actually using Restream. So this Restream allows me to stream on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So there might be people in the, I have it on Twitch chat right now. It might be people in the YouTube chat. Probably not. I don't know. Yeah. So it's a different avenue. If you guys want to stream, I would use that because it does both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Oh, y'all been going crazy. I've been watching craziness of TikTok. It's crazy over there. Crazy. Y'all got even big YouTubers, because I just been watching YouTube, big YouTubers covering like some of the TikTok stuff going on, like the Unfuck America tour. Wow, that's actually pretty big. thing. Dean and Parker are pretty big on YouTube when it comes to debate, so there are people covering the fuck out that. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I first saw it. I saw other people. I saw Destiny and everybody else covering it. I was like, "Holy shit, I know those people." So, yeah. So yeah, that shit's crazy. It's like, oh, I'm glad I'm not in there. Understand? Yeah, I did see crazy TikTok on that one. Cascade read him for filth. I saw that one. Saw that one. If I was still on TikTok, I would have been like W Cascade because like I saw he read him for fucking filth and he was 100% right. From what I could see, I don't have too much context on that because I just saw the clips on craziness of TikTok. That's all I just saw the clips. I didn't see full context, but all I know is he got ate up. That Cascade ate him up. That's all I know. You come from House Leader Cascade and expect a clapback of unparalleled proportions. Yeah.
Success they're hoping to reap in the 2026 midterms? Is that what you're doing, sir? Sure sounds like it. Lead the country and a woman of mixed race, end quote.
Read that again for me, Steve.
She's this, she's that, really. I've never seen as successful and consistent of a campaign undercutting the notion that a woman couldn't lead the country and a woman of mixed race, end quote.
They're not real brick walls.
BS.
They're not real brick walls.
But
real quick, I just want to this speech here. Hold on, go back a little bit. I'm just gonna leave it paused right there. So just real quick, Stephen A. Smith is I don't know if he's fallen down a rabbit hole, jumped down a rabbit hole, fell into the conservative, what do you call it? I call it media to Republican pipeline, MTR, right? I'm Joe Biden. I feel as if I don't think there's anything that Democrats can do these days, liberals, whatever the hell, can do these days that would please anybody. Joe Biden came out and said like this. I wasn't surprised, not because I didn't think that vice president was qualified to be the president. She's qualified to be the president of the United States of America. I was surprised because they went the sexist route, the whole route. This is a woman, she's this, she's that. Really, I've never seen as successful and consistent of a campaign undercutting the notion that a woman couldn't lead the country and a woman of mixed race. Everything that he said, that Joe Biden had said in that in this was 100% correct. I don't know what Stephen A. is talking about. He's not even touching on what the actual message meant for why Joe Biden had said what he said. Because the Trump campaign did do that. Their entire campaign was attacking Kamala Harris as a woman. I believe they referred to Kamala Harris as a DEI hire that's coming after her, her being black, or a woman, saying she was a DEI pick. I don't know if you probably forgot that the Trump campaign used that. So I don't know what Stephen A. is talking about. I don't know why people saw this and immediately try to discredit it. Joe Biden's 100% right. People can think that he's like mentally declining, but this statement is actually true. I voted for Kamala Harris out of the hope that people would understand just like the other option is just bad for business, bad for the country. But I also knew that it was a long shot because of how racist America is and how sexist and misogynistic that America is, based on the fact that this whole country is built off of patriarchy. So I knew that if a white woman, Hillary Clinton, couldn't beat Donald Trump, and yes, she got the popular vote, but if a white woman couldn't beat Donald Trump, then I knew a black woman couldn't. And the only reason I knew that because let's just say she gets the popular votes just like Hillary Clinton got the popular votes, the electoral would never win her way because this country does not want a black woman as a president. They don't want a woman as president. They're not ready for it. They're mad that the Pope is sort of liberal. That's what they're mad at right now. So again, I don't know why Stephen A. Smith consistently covers these topics half-assed, but then wants to convince everybody that he's a centrist. No, yeah, you're right. He's literally kissing Trump's booty hole. He talked to President Trump maybe one time, and Trump alluded to the fact that Stephen A. should run for president. Come on, bro. Like let's be for real. Let's be fucking for real here. Man, it's disappointing. It's really disappointing when I see people like Stephen A. do this shit. Yeah, and their excuse for selling out, the excuses that they use for selling out is, well, we gotta stop fighting, against the Republican side. We gotta stop throwing shit at the other side and actually try to work with the Republicans. I mean, like, I don't know where they've been for like the past 8 since Obama, Money Does Talk too. Since Obama left office or was in office, there's only one side that's really not been trying to work with everybody. That's been the Republican side. There's not a time that I remember. Maybe John McCain. John McCain was probably the only president that actually was talking about working with the other side. All the other Democratic presidents were already or Democratic presidential candidates were talking about, hey, man, I'm going to try to extend. We got to work together. We got to get together. We got to blah, 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 yakety smackety. So, like, John McCain was the only individual that was probably willing to work with the Democratic Party. It's not on the Democratic Party to actually try to work together, because that hand has always been extended. Because the Democrats know that nothing's going to get done without the Republicans. The Republican Party are the ones that's like, bleh. So I don't understand why so much smoke for the left, none for the fucking right, and like it's a climate that we're in, I guess.
Consistent of a campaign undercutting the notion that a woman couldn't lead the country, and a woman of mixed race. End quote. BS. That's straight BS. See, I'm not going to let y'all get away with that. I'm not going to let you get away with that. They said we were hearing the same thing about Hillary in 2016. Hillary won the popular vote, over 3 million votes. She didn't win an electoral college vote. Why was that? James Comey comes out with some
real quick before
report
Stephen A. continues real quick.
About deleted emails, 33,000 plus.
Stop.
A couple of weeks.
There we go. All right, cool. No, just quick fact check. Well, not a fact check. He's actually right. Hillary Clinton did win the popular vote in 2016 against Donald Trump. But at the end of the day, she didn't win the electoral colleges. Donald Trump won the popular vote in the 2024 election, but Kamala Harris had 75K votes. 75K the popular vote. Hillary Clinton had a little bit over 65K of the popular vote. So Kamala Harris won about like 10 million more votes. I believe it's 10 million more votes than Hillary Clinton did, and still didn't win the election. Right? So that's telling you there's something there, right? I think 1 + 1 = 2. If you can bring it all together, if a white woman who won the popular vote still didn't beat Donald Trump, do you honestly believe that they were going to allow a black woman to do that? Not in America, not in today's climate, right? Because like Stephen A's got to remember, we're in an age where everything is woke now, right? Every good thing that people want to happen, trans people should be able to exist. They shouldn't, they should be able to live a life. Oh, you're too woke. Racism is real. Oh, you're too woke. It's like when the right was, the Republicans are really good at pushing the message that everything, like if everything's coming after the straight man or the straight woman. They were really good at pushing that message, and that's why they won the election. Ignorance won the election. Donald Trump didn't win the election. Ignorance won because people decided not to vote, and people honestly thought that Donald Trump was going to do something for them, which he's proven so far to not be able to do. But that's what it is.
So before the election, what misogyny got to do with that? Kamala Harris goes on The View, knowing that you had open borders, knowing the crisis it caused in this country, knowing that there was an economy that was compromised by inflation, knowing there was crimes in the streets, knowing there was those kind of things going on, and she went on The View when they asked if there's anything that she would do differently
Flipping on Israel.
that you were doing in your administration, President Biden. She said, I really can't think of anything. Everybody knows that's when she sealed her fate. Everybody knows that. But that doesn't even come close to equating the damage you did, sir. You and the former First Lady, Jill Biden. Both of you. Now, Jill Biden, I'm not going to blame but so much because that's her husband and she was standing by her husband. So when he went on the stage June 27th for a debate and completely looked inept, off or out of sync and everything in between, it was you that walked out on that stage minutes later and said you want to thank him and applaud him for doing an outstanding job. You answered every question. You did this, you did that. And then you go on The View and admit it was a flat out lie. It was a flat out lie. And that you knew you were lying. You went on The View and you said he was awful. It was bad. But that ain't what you told the voters out there. And now you're hiding behind the notion that you weren't going to let one moment, one bad moment, ruin a presidency. Well, it was one bad moment. Actually, it was many. Because we saw him. There were times that we saw him.
You know, what I like to do is when I listen to people talk, I like to try to fact check, right? And I'm just looking at my phone. It's like, because he's saying that Joe Biden had went on The View and said that, hey, the performance, Joe Biden's performance, and I guess he said it there right in front of her fucking husband, and said, hey, the performance was fucking horrible. It was trash. But like, what I got was, we were not going to let the 90 minutes of a debate define his presidency and all of those years of service. Like, that's what I got from The View, from the information that I got, or from the information that I see. Let me see. Like, she defended his presidency on The View. So, again, I don't know what that is. I found a bell. I found a bell somewhere in this house, so I'm just gonna keep doing this. So, I found a bell. So I'm just gonna be like this every lie. I'm just gonna be like, bang.
Him, and he had no business being seen. Remember when former President Barack Obama had to guide him off a stage where he didn't know where he was going? Remember when he was at the World Summit in G7, if I remember correctly, and everybody was standing together, but he was fading away and drifting away, and they had to guide him back to the line? Remember that? Remember the times that he was mumbling incoherently? There was a...
I don't get it. Why doesn't nobody ever talk about Trump's performance at the debate? The fact that he could not answer any question. Like, you literally, Donald Trump has showed, I'm sorry, Donald Trump has shown that, like, at the debate, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no fucking talking points. Every time they try to ask him a question about the economy, ask him a question about how child care, immigration, he has zero answer. Zero. Nobody talked about the two debates, like, in forever. No one ever talks about how stupid Donald Trump is. Literally, the president of the United... I would take somebody who is declining mentally, but actually answers the questions that I want, that's being asked of him. Very important questions, right? Because when you sit in the office, the Oval Office, you have to know these questions. You have to be able to answer these questions, and you have to be able to act them out. Now, regardless, if Joe Biden on some of the days when he's president of the United States, he's just like, okay, fine. Mitch McConnell freezes every time. Nobody wants him to step down. Nobody talks about that. But anyways, yeah, nobody ever talks about how stupid Donald Trump was in those fucking debates. It's always like, oh, well, Joe Biden was just, and it wasn't even that he wasn't answering the questions. The problem that they have with Joe Biden is that he was talking really slow. Like, he kept repeating himself and he kept stumbling and bumbling. It's like, that happens to me all the time. Like, when I'm trying to get a point. I mean, like, not at that rate, not that low. I'm not that low of a talker, but I don't know. It's just stupid. Did I accidentally...
Analyst that came on Chris Cuomo's show. I think it was Scaramucci, if I remember correctly, but I'm not sure. Anthony Scaramucci. And he came on Chris Cuomo's show on News Nation, and he said the night of June 27th, when Joe Biden debated Donald Trump, he said that he looked like an elderly person in a nursing home waiting to be fed applesauce.
You saying he looked like he was 83? Holy shit. No way.
And it's sad
No way.
is that vivid kind of picture depicting the president at the time
He looked
was.
like he was 83, guys.
No one refuted it. No one. Which brings me to the other point. You see, none of that is a big deal, sir. If you're over 80 years of age, which there's no shame in it, and you served this country the way that you served in the Senate for decades, in the presidency for the 3 previous years.
Exactly.
But
Really
in 2020, when you were elected, before you took office,
And what's wrong with applesauce?
in January of 2021, you swore to the American public that you were there to be a transitional president. You were coming for one term. You just wanted to get America's house back in order and get us removed from the chaos that had ravaged us for years in the streets of America. And you were supposed to be transitional. You got there, the Dems fought off a red wave, nullified it actually. It wasn't what the Republicans thought it was going to be. The Democrats won the midterms, and you were feeling yourself. And you didn't want to surrender power.
Hey, who is he talking about?
So you went back on your word as a transitional president. Your wife did everything she could to cover for you, knowing that there was slippage.
Who is he talking about? Wait, wait, what? I'm confused. Maybe I missed something. Who is he talking about?
And now we're walking around, and what are we hearing right now, President Joe Biden? We're hearing that at 82 years of age, okay, which is what you are about to be.
Wait, hold on. Let me go back just a little bit.
You're talking about writing a book.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And we're hearing that at 82 years of age,
Wait.
wife did everything she could to cover for you, knowing that there was slippage. And now we're walking around, and what are we hearing right now, President?
Wait, I'm confused.
So you went back on your word as a transitional president. Your wife did everything she
What
could
is he
to cover
talking? Does he
for
not
you,
know what a transitional
knowing that
president
there
is?
was slippage. And now we're walking around, and what are we hearing right now, President Joe Biden? We're hearing that at 82 years of age, okay, which is what you are about to be,
Okay. What the fuck?
you're talking about writing a book. And the book is going to be out in about a year.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought he
And
was
that's
talking
about
about
right
Trump
around the
when he
time
said
that
he
the
didn't wanna
midterms are
give up
coming out.
power or something like that.
That the midterms will take place.
I think he's got his
So is it
presidency
possible that what you're doing is what you're saying is, I'm going to come out with a tell-all book, and I'm going to dime everybody out, and I'm going to call out the Democratic Party so you can somehow get in the way of whatever
I don't
success
think he's
they're
good.
hoping
I
to
don't think he's
reap
good at all.
in the 2026 midterms? Is that what you're doing, sir? Sure sounds like it. See, this is the sickening part of politics. This is what they mean when they talk about people eating their own. Because you ain't giving a damn. You didn't want to leave office after promising you would serve one term. You tried to stay in power.
Wait, what?
And somehow they were able to hoodwink you into embracing the presidential debate against Donald Trump 3 months before any presidential debate had ever taken place. You got exposed. And
Wait, who? Now I'm confused. Is he saying that Biden said, "Yo, I'm only going to serve one term"? I never heard him say, "Hey, I'm only going to serve one term." I'm confused. That doesn't make any sense now. Now I'm fucking confused. Refusing to give up power is crazy. Refusing to give up power would be trying to overturn the election by instigating an insurrection. That's what refusing to give up your presidential power. But oh, never mind. That was Donald Trump, the guy he sucks up to now. Damn, I got my presidents wrong. I never heard that. I've never heard Joe Biden say that.
what do the Democrats do? They put Kamala Harris in there, bypassing primaries like every other candidate.
Okay, like literally no other candidate. Okay, if everybody asks you, no candidate wanted to do, he literally, not Donald Trump, see? Joe Biden had literally stated, he said, yo, if you guys don't think I can do this, challenge me at the convention. Challenge me at the DNC. He said that. No other Democrat stepped up. Do you want to know why? And I don't blame them from not stepping up, because it'll be political suicide. At that point in time, you would have to. This is why I kind of just wanted Joe Biden to just go ahead and finish the run and let America decide whether they want Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Because I think that Kamala Harris, while I loved the campaign for what she had, for as little time as she had, I loved it. It was exciting. It rejuvenated, a lot of people to get them back into politics. But it was too short of a time. It was too short. It was like 2.5 months, maybe 3 months total, nonstop to run a campaign in that little time to beat Donald Trump, who already had that much of a following, who already had that much of a head start. It was political suicide. That's why nobody really stepped up at the DNC. It was crazy. Why would they do that? I wouldn't do that. Like literally, if I'm going to run for president, I'd rather run in 2028 or whatever. Yeah, I'd rather run in 2028 than try to run now, like with 3 months left for the election. I don't think anybody uses critical thinking when they're covering politics anymore. Like why would anybody do that? And he literally challenged them. So people need to stop acting as if Joe Biden was just like sitting on it, whatever.
They would have to experience, in large part because in 2020 she couldn't even get to Iowa. And then you sold the American public on this is what we want, this is who we want, et cetera, et cetera. Come to find out, it's a whole bunch of lies. But the reality is you're not far removed from it, Joe Biden. Because had you kept your word and committed yourself to being a transitional president and making room very early for candidates to come down the line for the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States, all the things that happened in the aftermath would not have been necessary. But you didn't care. Instead, you want to talk about what's for the good of the country. How could you possibly think you would have beaten Trump when inflation was taking place, when open borders had ravaged us, when the war in Ukraine against Russia was fomented even more, when the Hamas-Israeli conflict took fold?
Yeah, this is what it is.
With all of this stuff happening.
Slash rage bait slash Trump.
Months removed from office. When no one really cares to hear from you at this particular juncture, you're going to go on a BBC network and then in the aftermath of that, The View, and you're going to bad talk Kamala Harris? You say you wasn't, but when you say you would have beaten Trump and that you knew she would have lost, that's bad talking.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. Oh, hold on, wait. I kind of want to go back to the actual statement. Where am I at here? 8:59. Hold on, wait. Let me go back and we're going to reread that real quick. I did not want to be on live long, but I just want to reread this right quick. I think it's right here. Wait. Let me read it again. Maybe I missed it. Maybe he did say it.
Straight BS.
Okay, hold on, wait.
She's this, she's that. Really. I've never seen.
Okay, so I wasn't surprised. Not because I didn't think that Vice President was qualified to be the president. She is. She's qualified to be the president. The United States. Somebody, like, if I think that somebody wasn't going to win, I would not say that they were qualified to be the president of the United States. I was surprised because they went the sexist route. They went the whole route. This was a woman. She's this, she's that. Really, I've never seen as successful and consistent of a campaign undercutting the notion that a woman could lead the country and a woman of mixed race. What the fuck? Why is he now? He's just lying. Not once did he say that she could not win. He literally stated in this fucking thing. He's not surprised that it didn't happen because of the tactics that Donald Trump used. and this fucking racist ass misogynistic. Is that black man? This is black man going to sit here and tell me that like racism didn't play a part in this presidential race? Come on. You can't be like that, bro. You can't.
Going to go on a BBC network, and then in the aftermath of that, The View, and you're going to bad talk Kamala Harris? You say you wasn't, but when you say you would have beaten Trump and that you knew she would have lost, that's bad talking her.
Okay. Now, see what he just did there? He just said that he knew that she would have lost. He said in that statement, what's going on? Oh no, I'll cover that one probably tomorrow if I do go live. I just wanted to come over here. Actually, yeah, I was going to go over a little bit of this, trying to get through this, and then there is just a snippet of this Jubilee thing that I saw. But yeah, if I go live tomorrow, I'll definitely talk about that. But I just want to point out this fucking lie. Like that was a bald-faced lie. Like that's fucking crazy. Yeah, he didn't say that I'm surprised, or he didn't say that I knew she would lose. He said he wasn't surprised at the outcome. That's it. Like there's a complete difference. There's a complete difference. Knowing somebody wasn't going to win means I had absolutely zero faith that she was going to win. But knowing the outcome, after knowing the outcome, that means that, okay, I wasn't surprised because X, Y, and Z. That's like when white, like I've been watching craziness for TikTok and microaggressions and shit like that lately. That's why I always have the stand that white people are inherently racist, right? I have this stance because it's sort of me giving them a sense of grace, because I know those microaggressions exist, right? I know they exist. So when a white person does something like that, I'm not surprised when a white person is being microaggressive. And even when they don't know it, because sometimes I think they genuinely don't know they're being microaggressive, I'm still not surprised, because we live in a society built off of white supremacy. So I'm not surprised that they don't teach people or teach kids in school about what a microaggression is and how black people or people of color suffer from microaggression. So I'm not surprised. So it doesn't offend me. I'm not offended when I hear microaggressions because it's not surprising anymore. I just don't like the fucking lying. You can be honest. People already don't like Joe Biden.
Why did you leave out that you didn't put her in a position to win because you refused to step away? If you had kept your word about being a transitional president, and you had made it very clear early that you would only serve one term, it would have paved the way for her to run for the office herself and campaign with ample time to do so. If she is what you say she is, that she's qualified to be the president of the United States of America, you could have helped her. Not just come in at the last minute and give her an endorsement to take a shot, reportedly, at Barack Obama and the George Clooney's of the world and others. You could have helped her. But you didn't. And now when you have an opportunity to walk away into the twilight and live your final years, you talk about coming out with a book.
Was acting like he's going to support her anyways. He voted.
It has to be a tell-all to get you any money. It has to be a tell-all. It's a sinister game, and you know it's bad when you can't stop playing it in your 80s. I'm not taking any tweets. I have nothing more to say. I got too much to do this week, and I'm about to get out of here. But it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
I wouldn't take any more tweets if I was Stephen A. Smith, because if literally his show, if people were to call in, people who actually are intelligent was to call into his show and then go point for point for point for point for point for point of everything he said in this video and even in the past videos, right? He would probably look really, really fucking stupid. Him, Chris Cuomo, and sometimes Bill O'Reilly lately have been like really, really Republican cucks, like dead. I like dead ass cucks when it comes to the Republican Party, bro. I'm disappointed. I'm not again with Stephen A. Smith. Just signed a $100 million contract with ESPN. He doesn't care anymore. I'm 100% sure that he doesn't care to a point where it's like he can separate himself from the black community, which is surprising to me because what he did for the black community in 2020, when we were going through all that racial injustice when it came to the government and police officers, it's crazy that it flipped 4 or 5 years to this. But again, I'm not surprised that when it comes to money, when it comes to potential of greed, that once again, a wealthy black man sells out once again. It's fucking annoying. It's fucking annoying. Look into it. If you ever go to this video, right? Joe Biden not surprised by Kamala Harris loss. My thoughts, whatever, right? Go into the comment sections. You don't even have to play the video. Go right into the comment sections and see how many white people are in his comment sections. They were never there before because when he was talking about Colin Kaepernick being blackballed in the NFL for taking a knee, he was getting trashed by white people in his comment sections. Now that he's sitting on liberals and like bad mouthing Joe Biden and everything that a Democrat does, like is the wrong. Yeah, basically, this is I can't get rid of.
And the white teachers immediately targeted us. And
this was do 50 black and white people. Also going to try to cover. I'll probably cover I'm not sure how long. I'll do a quick cover of the Trump thing, Phoenix tomorrow, and with the Israel. I gotta look at it because if you flip on Israel, that's funny. Yeah, I'm going to cover that one because I find out that's kind of, I want to see do 50 black people or white people think the same. I'm actually curious on how that one's going to go. But yeah, I'll just to say this real quick. From the stuff that I've been watching on TikTok, well, not TikTok, on craziness of TikTok, from the Unfuck America tour to the Jones situation to the there was something else before. Well, that whole doxing thing was always a thing. That's one of the things that's like keeping me from coming back in a sense because like I don't want to be, not that I have bodily autonomy. I can do whatever I want to do. No one's forcing me or putting a gun to my head to tell me like, okay, well, you have to get involved in this. But it's like, I see things and I always want to comment on things. I always want to have an opinion. So I kind of feel like when I saw that, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't good. This isn't good because like I'm sitting there. Exactly. I sit there and I watch these things and like, I don't know why I watch them, but I'm bored. So I was like, all right, well, let me just listen to this. I'm like, okay, well, this is bizarre. First of all, it's a bizarre world. I didn't see, it's like, yo, some of these people fucking with these people, this is weird. But like, I understand the context of it. I know it's not like what it always seems to be, but it's like, I was like, I look at it as just like, bro, how is it? How I guess from when I left from like January, I just didn't install it back since they first did the little 12-hour thing. But it's like I don't know. I'm just thinking like how, just basically how is this a thing right now? How, why? Like, have you sold your soul that much? But whatever. I'll probably cover that too. I'll probably go back and I'll probably see that on. Oh, nice, yay! Eating up August and May. That's what I'm talking about. But like, yeah, I'll probably see that on fucking craziness. Probably if they record it. They gotta be on their P's and Q's. If you catch craziness, tell them they need to pick up the downloading and the updating so I can have something to watch while I'm at work. I can have something to listen to. So they need to pick it up a bit. If you could just let them know that when you see them. Okay. Well, whatever. Either way. But yeah. So whatever. Yeah, I'll probably still come back, but that's once I get. I think I'll probably do a stream if I'm not. I think that I can stream from here on. I think I can do 3 platforms at the same time. Trans topic, is that the one? Because I did see whatchamacallit, I don't want to drop names on this stream. I saw the mess and mayhem thing message. Saw that. Was that it about that, or okay? But yeah, that can be, you don't have to let me know now. But yeah, basically, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I'm like, how is the theme of what everything I've seen from Crazy to TikTok this year is just how. How is this happening? We living in a bizarre world, alternate, universe. The multiverse was fucked up. Okay. Oh yeah, there's something that it was dropped into Marquez server in the Mess and Mayhem thing. I was reading it, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know the full context, but I know who these players are. I know exactly who she's talking about, but who they're talking about. But anyways, all right, thanks for showing up. I'm going to stop this stream because I gotta do some more. I gotta get my place ready. My mom's staying over for like a couple of days, so I'm be hosting my mother here. So I gotta get the place ready, and I gotta play some video games, and then I gotta go talk to the missus. And my cat just came in. What do you want? Yeah. So there's a bunch of things. Yay. Oh, and I just reached 100 messages with Restream chat. W Phoenix for getting me to 100 messages today. That's crazy. I guess. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, it just gave me a congratulations for freaking 100 messages. W. Okay. Yay. So, all right. I'm out of here. I know. She's hungry. All right. I'm out of here. Thanks for showing up. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Stay safe. And I'll try to drop my alerts when I'm live. Nowadays, I know, I don't want, I don't know how many people, I keep forgetting to do that. So, anyways, let me just go ahead and end it before I keep talking. All right. Catch you later, Phoenix. All right.